Hi, this is Sharon with Dating Again and LovingAgainCoach.com. Today's video is on 10 of my Soapbox dating topics. 10 things you should know before putting yourself out there, or 10 things that are going to help you improve your dating experience. Okay, we're just going to get started. Don't mistake attraction and attachment for love. If you've seen my love chemicals videos, you know I really get into love chemicals. But attraction and attachment are love chemicals. Attraction, it can be super, super powerful. That's when you have an invisible smell or you like somebody's invisible smell. It goes up through your nose into your hypothalamus, which is actually responsible for some big things, like your whole endocrine, all your hormones, your endocrine system, eating, sleeping, big things it's responsible for. So a hormonal response, your attraction to someone can be super, super powerful, much like hunger and thirst. Like, it's a big emotion. It can often be mistaken for love. Attachment is dopamine and oxytocin. So oxytocin, mommy's blood when we nurse our babies. So it's a bonding hormone. It's also called like the hug hormone or the sex hormone. It's very bonding. So when we're affectionate with someone, we start flooding oxytocin and start bonding with them. Even if we don't know them very well, we're getting attached to this person. And they could be a horrible person. They could be the best person in the world. We don't know. So dopamine, on the same lines, dopamine actually stimulates our pleasure centers much like crack cocaine. So it literally leaves us feeling addicted to a person. That's why you will watch someone go back to an abusive situation over and over and over again, because around 5 days to about 2 weeks after a breakup, you start wanting that person back and you start justifying the red flags. And it's not because you're meant to be with that person. It's because your dopamine is on fire and it's telling you that you are addicted to this person. Also, after a breakup, like your serotonin drops and all sorts of other things happen. So you need to watch what happens after a breakup. The attachment will feel really, really strong. So sometimes you're attracted to a person and attached to a person, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're in love with that person. Yes, you need attraction and attachment for love, but love is respect and love is compassion, a lot of admiration. Love is a lot of beautiful things, and it's not abuse. And it's not neglect, it's respect, right? And admiration and beautiful things, it's kindness. So keep that in mind, keep that in check, because you might just be really attracted or really attached to another person. Okay, be happy and confident. So we all know that joy comes from within, right? We need to be living a happy, well-balanced life, a balanced life that includes fun and, spirituality and having all our needs met and growth. That is a happy, balanced life. Confidence comes from embracing your strengths and your weaknesses. Okay, it's easy to embrace our strengths, right? The things we're good at, but it's not always easy to love ourselves for our weaknesses as well. But you need to know that you can use your strengths to help your weaknesses and to improve on your weaknesses. So keep that in mind. When you can embrace and really love yourself for your strengths and your weaknesses, it's going to make you a much more confident person. Also, things that make us confident, like sometimes people are confident in work and then not confident in other areas. It's knowing what you're doing. You know your stuff at work. You're very confident in that. So we're going to talk about some more dating things to help you be a little more confident in dating. Okay, learn to communicate your boundaries. So knowing what boundaries are and communicating your boundaries are two different things. Setting your boundaries and communicating your boundaries, again, are two different things. So I tell people when they're setting their boundaries, live your boundaries. Your boundaries are the same with every person, with your boss, with your parents, with your siblings, with your friends, with your children, with the people you're dating. Everybody, you have the same boundaries. That way there's no question. There's no question why you'll do something with your friends and not your siblings, or your boyfriend but not your friends, or, Live your boundaries. But communicating our boundaries, someone described our boundaries as our yeses and our nos. I like to think of them as the things I value about myself that I'm protecting. Like in a dating situation, for instance, I value my body, and so you can't touch it until I say you can. Or I value my self-esteem, so you can't put me down. So know your boundaries, set your boundaries, and then communicating your boundaries. I tell people, make an I statement, okay? And you can be super nice about it. You know, I don't kiss on the first date. I don't kiss on the first date. So when someone's asking me out, I will tell them in advance. I will set my boundary in advance, just so you know. Love to go out with you. I don't kiss on the first date. And they're like, oh, okay. So now they know, right? But you can be super kind about boundaries. I'd love to go to that movie with you, but I don't watch rated R movies. So can we choose another movie? There's your boundary. And it was kind. It was said in a nice way. You can also express your boundaries with a consequence. I'm going to leave the room if you keep talking to me that way. So you have the consequence along with the boundary. So learn to communicate your boundaries, practice at it. Maybe practice with some people you don't know before you, it's always harder with people you do know. And you know, we don't want to step on toes and we want to be polite and everything, but you are going to have more confidence and more self-esteem if you can communicate your boundaries. Okay, big soapbox. Take your time. We are not in a race to find a spouse or to pair off. We're not, I promise. I use the phrase, and I don't even remember where I heard it, all 4 seasons in a road trip. You need to take the time to get to know everything you can about this person. Everything you can. What are they like when they're tired? What are they like when they're angry? What are they like when their kid brings home a bad report card? You need to know all aspects of this person. Do they chew really loud? Do they gag at the garbage disposal? You know, I mean, just all the ins and outs of a person. The more you know, the easier it is going to be fit together in a relationship. And there's fewer surprises after you're married, right? So take your time. I actually even say set your conflict resolution style. Sometimes people are so happy dating, they never do that. So I always tell people you can't get married till you have a fight anyways, right? So take your time and do everything you possibly can, have all the experiences, and just really get to know what you're getting yourself into. Okay. Decide you want a healthy relationship. This is an easy decision in your head to say, yes, I want a healthy relationship. But people decide every day to not have a healthy relationship. People give me a big list of things that, it's usually women, that their boyfriends are doing. You know, he breaks up with me every time I do something he doesn't like. Every time I tell him no, he threatens to break up with me. You know, all this abusive things, these emotionally abusive things. And then they ask, what do I do? And I'm like, well, you leave him. And they'll say, well, I'm not ready to do that. So they're actually choosing an unhealthy relationship. So decide in your head in advance, I want a healthy relationship. The relationship starts going downhill. You can try to repair it if that's not working. If the person isn't receptive to that, it's okay to leave because you want a healthy relationship. You have to ask yourself, am I in a healthy relationship or an unhealthy relationship? Because you want to choose a healthy relationship. Fine-tune your online profile. So I actually got online not too long ago and looked at people's profiles. Lots of people have a profile and lots of people are making a lot of mistakes. You don't need to write volumes and volumes. There's paragraph after paragraph after paragraph about who you are, what you like, what you don't like. Totally don't need to do that. Chances are high someone's not reading all of it anyways. And the second thing is, there's no mystery. There's nothing to ask questions about if you've already spilled it. So shorten up your profiles. Be a lot more vague. Put out facts that promote questions about yourself. Some, you know, I have children, but I never said how many I have. You know, I'm from California. Well, what part? So be more vague in your profiles. You need to be cute. You need to be funny. You need to be very positive. Don't write down the things that you're not looking for. It's hard enough to put yourself out there without thinking that you're not what someone wants because they've just listed a bunch of things that they don't want. Figure that out by chatting, figure that out by dating, but don't just specify that from the get-go, okay? And the last tip I'm going to give you on your online profile is end with a question so that it makes it easier for somebody to pop in on chat to answer the question. So I like road trips. So I might put, I love a good road trip. What's your favorite road trip snack? And so somebody could come in and go, oh, I'm red vines and peanut M&Ms. You know, what's yours? So end with a question that would promote maybe a conversation to make it easier for someone to pop in on chat. Okay, learn to flirt and have a conversation. Okay, flirting is a lost art from a lot of people because they haven't done it for a long time. Someone who's been married 20 years hasn't been had to really do that. So I tell people, flirt with eye contact. There's a lot you can do with your eyes. You have eyebrows. You can wink. Okay, eye contact across the room. You can be kind of flirty. You know, look away, look back, smile. Okay, flirt with your eyes. Flirt with compliments. Break the touch barrier. You can flirt by touching and pushing and nudging. And so learn to flirt, practice that. And then conversation. Conversation, it's super important to know a conversation. The best thing you can do in a conversation is to ask questions, actually listen to the answers and respond to the answer to your question, not respond with the next thing you were thinking about or the next question you have. So learn the art of give and take in a conversation. There's books on conversations, but learn a good conversation. Good conversation starters are important too. Okay. Don't rush into affection. We've already talked about oxytocin. You start rushing into affection and you don't know if you're having real feelings for a person or if you're just flooding all these great hormones, right? And you're getting attached to a person that you may not even know. So learn that you have things in common. I tell people take 3 to 5 dates before you start kissing and before you start being affectionate, just to know that this person is worth investing your affection and those hormones into. So then you already know, oh, I could have feelings for this person, or I do have feelings for this person before you start the affection. Very important. Okay, we're gonna do this one. Get rid of your own baggage, okay? People can give me a big list of someone else's baggage and call it, oh, they had so much baggage, it's luggage. Well, let's work on your unresolved issues first, maybe, okay? Maybe you have issues from your childhood, you made some bad decisions about yourself based on your ex's behavior, so you have self-esteem issues. Maybe you have serious fear and can't get past certain parts of a relationship to move it forward. So let's take care of your own baggage first, your own unresolved issues. I do a whole video about baggage and how to get rid of your own baggage. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, know your red flags. You want more confidence in dating? Know the hazards that are out there, okay? We already know the fun things that are out there about dating. Let's know the hazards. If somebody is always jealous, if they're controlling, if you feel like you're constantly being knocked down, you might be dealing with a narcissist or a personality disorder. Okay, know our red flags. If you don't like yourself when you're around that person, that is a big red flag. You know, people always talk about the most common ones, you know, lying, cheating, things like that, things that need boundaries. Well, all bad behavior needs boundaries. And so it's okay to call somebody out on bad behavior before you end the relationship just to see if it will change. But another red flag is someone who apologizes a lot and the behavior never changes. So get to know your red flags. I've got a lot of videos on red flags. Learn to know low investment. If somebody isn't invested in you, you match their level of investment. You don't put so much effort in when they're not putting a lot of effort in. It's not somebody maybe you break up with, but it's someone that you maybe start dating other people and still date them, but you match their level of investment. So get to know the red flags, get to know low investment, so that you can have like just a better dating experience and more confidence. Because a lot of times we chase a person and then we kind of have to stop and wonder why we're chasing them, because the behavior is bad or they're not invested. So just be careful with the red flags, but get to know all the red flags so they're in the front of your brain so that you're not making mistakes. You're not getting attached to someone that isn't going to be a good match for you. So that is 10 things. We did it in 15 minutes. Thanks for watching today. Of course, if you want a coaching appointment, I'm at lovingagaincoach.com. I'm on Facebook at Dating Again. I'm on Instagram at dating.again. Thanks so much for watching today.